Welcome back to a brand new coffee tech break with Jan. Good to see you back on my channel again. I think I got another great video for you lined up because I wanted to take you through the out-of-box experience of the Poly Studio V52, a brand new USB video bar which is available now. And you're able to hook this guy up to your computer on Windows or your Zoom room on Windows or use it as a BYOD device. There's different use cases and I will walk them all through in this video. Now, first about the V52. So I already did some unboxing videos, but let me take you a little bit through the specifics. Now, first off, this device comes with a 4K 20 megapixel lens. So a very powerful USB video bar. How do you recognize the V52? Well, you can recognize it here at the front where it says the V52. This guy can do speaker tracking, group tracking, people framing, all that functionality which you know from the Studio X video bars is also available on the V series. Let me show you some of the other specifics. So behind the curtain, as we say. Now, the V52 is equipped with two very powerful speakers, so it's easily to fill your room with audio from your mid-size to larger rooms. Very powerful. It is equipped with multiple microphones, so there's two microphones here at the front, which is more to the people who are sitting closer to the video bar, and further out in the room there's two second order of microphones, which will go for around the room, like up to 6 or 7 meters. It just always depends on the acoustics of the room. But the nice thing is with the V52 you can always add an expansion mic. So there is a wired expansion mic, which also has an extension cable kit where you can go up to 30 meters in the room if you need to get some better audio experience there. Now, as I said, so this is a whole front side. Then if we look at the back, and this is also an interesting one, you will find here that there's a lot of ports available. As it is a USB video bar, you won't use all the ports. Specifically, USB ports are, for example, disabled in this device. You can enable them through the web interface, but by default, USB ports are disabled. Now, there is here the expansion microphone, so here you can add that small expansion mic, that wired expansion mic. You need to go further in the room. Then we got here our LAN connector, so here you can manage it through Poly lens if needed, and we got the power connector. On the other side, same thing, we see here some ports like screen 1, screen 2, and an input. These are not used, and it's maybe for future use you only use the HDMI 1 as the output, because then you will find the IP address on the TV UI. You go into the web interface and then you can configure some of those settings or add it to the Poly lens. Now, there is one other port here, and that is the USB-C port. So that is the port where you connect the V52, well, again, to your compute, to your MTR compute, or to your Zoom room device on Windows, or you use it as a BYOD. Very nice. It's really a premium video bar for your meeting. Now, what comes along with the V52 is a clamp. That is always an interesting one. So the clamp is the one where you can put it on top of the monitor. It's very easy to adjust and fits with a lot of monitors. It has a little bit of a stick out here, so it fits here behind the monitor, and then this will go to the back, and then it will be fixed on top of the screen. Very quick and easy installation, and that is where it is meant to be, and just to have it quickly and easy. There is a table mount available, a VESA mount available. So there's all different options, and I will make sure that under this video I will put all those different options so you're able to find them very quickly. Now, the cable that comes along with the V52 is a USB cable, USB-C to USB-A in this case. Now, it could be that this will change, and so I don't have the final details yet. I would say just let me know if you get the V52. It could also be that it will ship it with the USB-C to USB-C. Anyway, it doesn't matter, and you can easily change this to C if you want that, and if you have it with a C, you can of course easily change it with a small adapter to A. And so that should all be fine. Now, this cable comes along in the package. It's around 2 meters of USB cable. It's not that long, but that is because imagine the computer behind the screen. So this is on top of your screen, and you got your computer behind the screen, so you don't need those long USB cables. Now, if you want to have a cable for sort of BYOD and have that up to the table, you could use, I think a lot of people still know that cable, the 5 meter Studio USB cable. This is 5 meters. It's like USB 2.0, and that gives you the opportunity to have this cable, and that is also a USB-C to USB-A, and to put that on the table. Then you can use it as a BYOD device. So you can share camera, speaker, and mic, not the screen. So you separately need to add the HDMI cable from the screen to the table. And so that is also a very important. One of the videos I showed you earlier was the G5 dock. And so don't forget the G5 dock from HP, a USB-C dock, in case you want to combine camera, the screen, even networking. So this guy has also networking on the back end. So if you want to combine this in one box, that is also a possibility. And then you got one cable, USB-C cable, to the laptop. And that can be your Windows device, that can be your Mac, it can be your Chromebook. And so this is all different options, including power, networking, etc. So keep that in mind. Now, if you use it, for example, as a BYOD device, there's also an option to add a remote control. These are all separate accessoires, which I will put them in the comments so you're able to use them. So if you're in a room and somebody is using this on his device as a BYOD device, and another person in that room wants to change something, you can do that through the remote. Of course, you can still use and pair it with a TC10 if you want. So if you want to have a touch panel at the table, you can do that for the microphone or camera settings, etc. So that is still an option. But most of the times, people just put this in the room, get that USB cable at the table, and you just want to use it with different platforms. And so these are all different options in combination with the V52. Now, the next thing which I wanted to show you is that out-of-box experience. So when you turn the device on, what do you see on the screen, and how do you configure the different settings on the V52? Now, let me jump in my computer and walk them through with you. Welcome into my Studio V52 demo room. So here I can show you that first time setup and walk you step by step through that configuration. Now, as I said earlier, you only connect during the setup at the V52 using the HDMI screen on one output. You connect it to the screen. Why? Because then you're able to identify the IP address. What you see here, this is the home screen of the V52 when connected to the screen. So on the left top, you see here the IP address and the name. You can here do a test with USB. So if you connect it to your laptop, this message will automatically disappear. You see here the mute, you see your volume. What you can also test here is a remote So in case you have a Bluetooth remote, and I will show you later on where you can pair it. If you got a Bluetooth remote paired to the V52, you're able to test it right here. So as you can see, I'm moving now my button here on this remote from the left to right. As you can see, it is moving. If I press the mute button, you can see it's now muted. You can also press the volume up, same thing. You see the volume slider. And so it gives you an impression of what's going on the device itself, just where you can quickly run some tests. Pairing the Bluetooth remote will be done through the V52 Web UI. But as I said earlier, I will show you that later on. Now, probably moving forward, you're also able to connect the V52 using USB cable to your laptop and use the Poly Lens application. But for now, you connect it through your network, look for the IP address, go into the web interface, and then you go to the first time setting. Now, the other way, which you can also do, is the onboarding through Poly Lens. So if you got your DHCP settings pre-configured, it will automatically show up in Poly Lens. And then you can create a policy for this device and push it like date, the time, camera settings, etc. I won't do that in this video. I just wanted to quickly show you how to set it up, but probably in the future I will show you more of those configuration options. Now, let's connect now to the web interface to show you that configuration. The Studio X web interface. So just connect to the IP address, which we're showing you on the top left. You put in as a username admin and as a password the last 6 digits of the serial number, and then we log in. And as you will immediately see, we have here a similar experience as we used to on the Studio X family. And so this feels very confident and for the people already familiar with that. So on the left side, you see all the navigation options for the configuration settings. We see here on the main page, we got all the main information about the connected products, networks, software versions, the application running. Now, this device is permanently running in the USB mode, the device mode. And now, what are the available settings? On the application, we got your device mode version, and then we got general information, system, languages, you got your date and time. On the device management is an interesting one, so you have the ability, if you want to, pair it up with a TC8 or a TC10. So I think this is a very nice one. You always have the option if you want to put that on the table, at least for volume control, mute control, and you don't want to use the Bluetooth remote, and you can always use those type of devices also in your network. Then we got system settings. Here you can put in some information like similar as you're used to with Studio X series. Now then we got the part with remote control. So here you see, if you want to pair it up with remote control, you can start the discovery mode. You hold down 10 seconds the mute button, and then it will automatically pair with the V52. It's a similar experience with the Studio R30 or Studio USB. You can pair up also to those type of devices the same remote control. Interesting one is networking. So if you want to manage the device, you can manage it through the LAN if you want to. You can also auto discover and automatically put it in Poly Lens, or you can enable Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi is by default enabled or disabled there, but you can go to the security settings and enable the Wi-Fi settings. And that gives you the possibility to also manage the device through Wi-Fi if you want to. A really nice one. Then we got the DNS settings, we got audio settings. Now, under monitor, what you will immediately identify is you only have one HDMI output, the HDMI 1, which is only used during setup. Again, after setting it up, you will further configure it through Poly Lens application. And the next thing is you will do is you just configure it all remotely. You don't have to jump into the web interface anymore or go onto the screen. That is only if you need to factory reset it, you need to set it up again, find the IP address, and that is an option. So you see there's only one monitor available, the HDMI 1. Looking at the audio settings, this is very similar as we're used to with the Studio X. So you got all those features available, also the sound flex reduction, noise block AI, filtering out like noisy keyboards or coffee machines, etc. Or if you got like rooms which acoustic wise are a challenge, you can play around with the sound flex reduction. Really nice. These are all available. If you need to add some microphone power, there's the transmission gain option. If you want to use external audio, you can also do that by enabling the USB audio. You can work with a combination with the extension mic, and then you can enable auto mic switching. So in that case, it will automatically switch to a mic which is on the table or switch to the mics which are in the V52. But this is only working if you have that external mic connected. Now I will put preferences all in the comments, don't worry. I'm talking about like external mic, remote controls, etc. I will make sure that in the description I will put all those products so you're able to check them out. There's also the option speaker volume boost. In that case, you will put it into volume 11 and it gives you an additional power to the V52 and X52 as a similar feature, and then you can really boost and enhance that volume of the device. Now, if you look at video inputs, that will be, there's no HDMI input of course, but the video input will be based on the tracking. So we got here frame group on the V52, frame speaker, or we got that people frame option where it's able to bring up to 6 participants into a frame and you're able to show them. Really nice to create that meeting equality. Now you can configure the digital zoom if you want to. I usually do that 2 or 3 times. One feature which is also really nice is that director AI. So if you got glass walls around the meeting room, similar as you have with the Studio X series, it's also on the V series, you can configure the meeting room setup and it will not track people which are outside those glass walls. So again, these are all available also in the V52. Security wise, you got all those settings which are also available again on the X series. The disable the USB ports. So by default the USB ports are disabled. So if you want to use a mouse or something with the V52, that is a possibility, or use external audio, then you need to like disable the USB ports to make them available again. So these are the security settings. Then on the servers, we can fill in the provisioning server, of course, SNMP settings and cloud settings. The provisioning server can automatically be configured through the DHCP settings. And again, I will put a reference in the comments that how you can do that. But again, as you can see, you got very similar settings in the V52 when you initially set it up, and it can all be done centrally via Poly Lens. Now, after finalizing the configuration, you can disconnect the HDMI cable, because with the V52 we only need the USB cable and in that specific use case where you want to use it. Now, this concludes the video of the initial setup of the Poly Studio V52. Hopefully you enjoyed it and gave you some clearance how to use the Studio V52 in your environment. So as I said, you can use it in combination with a dock table with that single cable. You can use it in combination with an MTR on Windows, or you can use it in combination with a Zoom room on Windows. And there's all kinds of different use cases how to use the V52. Well, remember, there's no codec in there. It's purely a USB video bar. And so at the end, you will only use that USB cable and to those different devices to use it. And then you can centrally manage it through to Poly Lens. Now, If you need more information, I would say look in the description. I will put a lot of reference in there, documentation, additional SKUs for the different products which I mentioned. There's also brackets and mounting brackets. I will put all that information in the description so you're able to find it very quickly. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and I'm already looking forward to see you back in the next video.